welcome. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining me yet again for another episode of the mini lecture series presented by JDS Philosophy. I am your host, as always, Jonas Spencer, and today I'm actually here to talk about a heavier topic with you. When each of us approaches our daily lives, we have a tendency to want to be loved unconditionally. That's an innate human desire. Each and every one of us have it. But do we really understand what unconditional love really is? I mean, so many people barely understand what love is. And part of that is because our media has painted love in certain ways, and our society has set up certain beliefs and constructs around love. And one of the misconceptions that keeps getting driven home is that love never hurts. Love is always kind. That doesn't mean that it never causes pain. In fact, sometimes pain is how you know you were loved in the first place. See, let me explain. When we want to be loved unconditionally, we look at others and we expect them to love us in spite of our faults, to encourage us in our goals, and to be supportive of us. But what exactly does that look like? It depends on how deep you've gone into yourself. It depends on the perspectives you hold on life. And that's where things get really dicey. You see, it's easy to say, I expect unconditional love from people, and just expect them to, across the board, decide, well, they're going to do exactly what I want them to do. They're going to do the things that make me happy to show me they love me. And if they don't, then obviously they don't love me. But that comes from a misconstrued idea of love in the first place. That's equating love to acceptance of behavior. That's equating love with allowing you to have your way. And yet, in my own life, the experiences I've had, honestly, with my mother and my father, both of whom I had extended periods in my life, were because I chose to separate myself from them entirely. I didn't have contact for many, many years. It was at least a decade for each of them at separate times. And the interesting thing is, I got to see where both of them, first my father and then my mom, they held space for me. When I came back, it wasn't, you need to be this person, you need to go back to church, you need to behave these ways, you need to follow my construct of what I think you should be. They just accepted me for me. My mom has actually gone as far as saying she can see that I live my truth and my gospel in everything that I do. And yet I know it tore her up to have to watch me go and make mistakes on my own and figure things out and respect the fact that I was an adult, I was a human, and I was, in the end, the one that was going to be responsible for those choices. My dad handled things the same way. The funny thing is, when I did finally reconnect on both sides, The outpouring of love was incredible. So, I would like to challenge each of you today. Recognize unconditional love. It hurts. Sometimes you become the lesson in unconditional love when you know what it actually is. It's something I've gotten to learn the hard way. It's something I've gotten to experience more times than I care to admit. And yet, when called on to teach the lesson, I will teach it every single time. Because in the end, I do genuinely love each and every one of you, whether I've met you or not. And I hope you all have a really good day. Please like, follow, subscribe here on Facebook and on YouTube. Try to get things built up. I would love to hear your feedback, your comments. Please. In fact, I would like to hear some stories. And if you are okay with me sharing the stories of unconditional love you guys have experienced in your own worlds, either way, drop it in the comments. But if you'd like, let me know, and I'll do a segment where I read some of the other lessons on unconditional love that get shared in the comments. Thank you, and have a blessed day.